Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so very much for joining me today. My name, Tonya L Whiteside of the Whiteside Group, and I'm here today just to talk to you about my latest project, the book Focus. It's a 31-day journal where we discuss building vision and clarity with purpose. And I am so thankful. This process has been a long time coming in terms of publishing this particular journal. I want to share with you tonight. I also have guests that will be coming on here momentarily that will share with you a little bit of their story, talk about how they view journaling, and then we'll talk about an event that I have coming up here really soon. So first, I just want to say that when it comes to journaling, everybody does it a little bit differently. I've just found over the years that having focus and having a direction when it comes to journaling, also creating vision boards, either for your personal, your professional, or your spiritual life, really does give direction. I know when I was younger, I was always told that I kept my heads in the clouds. And when I was younger, I didn't really understand what that meant. I saw it as a negative, but as I've gotten older, I'm so thankful that I've kept my head in the clouds because it has helped me gain more clarity and focus in what it is I've been trying to accomplish in life. So with this latest book launch, Focus, I am really excited to help those who are looking to gain clarity and looking for focus and vision in life. So let me bring on my first guest. My first guest is like one of my angels here on earth. I believe that we have been friends for, over 20 years. And when I tell you she is a light, she is positive energy. So if you don't have someone like that in your life, you need to get someone like that in your life. Please welcome Miss Maria Jones to the show.
Hi, good evening, listeners, everyone.
Hi.
So glad to be a part of this today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, Maria, I know your story, your powerful story. I am so grateful and thankful to call you a friend, but also knowing that you're someone who does journal, someone who does find focus and clarity in writing things down. Do you mind sharing a little bit of who you are and your story to our viewers today?
Certainly, Tonya, certainly. Well, my name's Maria Jones, and I call myself an encourager. That would be the best description for myself. I'm married, have a beautiful blended family, and journaling for me and my story has really been something that has kept me focused, but more positive and hopeful. Because my story, I have just recently gone through a cancer journey. And journaling, even though it started out for me, is more of just focus, trying to obtain goals and meet goals and journal things down and write them down so that I could see them clearly. And once I obtained whatever it is I was trying to work at, then I kind of would check it off. But it really became spiritual for me probably as an early adult. And I'm really glad that it became spiritual, because what happens in life, like me, with the recent story, like I said, I'm a cancer survivor. But prior to me having cancer, I was very close to my mother. We were like best friends. And my mother went through probably the last 25 to 30 years of her life with various health conditions. And anyone to look at my mother from the outside, her name was Clara Hernandez, by the way, I'm sorry, you would think, how could she have so much courage? How could she stay so positive? How could she have so much hope in the midst of all these circumstances? And they were real.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned to journal. I learned from my mother. She journaled, and she always made a statement and said, the next day is not going to be the same. Every day is going to be different. And when you journal and can look back at that day or that time when that circumstance was so great, and then how you got through it, and then you're there today, the new day, whether it's a week, a month, a year later, it just became a real reflection. And that's what it really is for me. And um, I'm grateful that I learned that I would say I was already in my 20s, but at a younger time in my life, because it really has kept me, and I think those around me, just so hopeful and encouraged, and just, you know, provides the energy that you need sometimes when your days seem to be so terrible and
Yeah.
you think that they're not going to change, but they do.
Yeah. 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 And you mentioned just hopeful. Do you ever go back and read some of the things that you've written down?
Yes, I've done this actually in the last year. Through this journey, it's caused me to go back and look at, and it's amazing how, again, a circumstance was one way and it is completely different now. And it's because I journaled and was able to look back at that and see how different it is now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, especially, I would say honestly, personally, it really was my own health and my mother's health.
Mm-hmm.
To see, my mother actually left her journals. So I sometimes often go back and read through her journals. And in her journals, she prayed a lot, and see all the prayers and the things she prayed over other people. And now these things have come into fruition. They've come to pass. People she prayed about, my brother, um, his salvation, he's saved now, just different things to look back 4 or 5 years ago. And then now, what's
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. Well, I know that when I put the journal together, I was thinking about um, family, friends, different situations that have happened in life. And with journaling, I have a lot of different ones. And like you, I've saved them. I mean, I think when I was in high school, it was more letter writing than it was journaling. But going away to college, I started to just buy little books, and I would keep one by my bed. I'd keep one at work, keep one in the car, and I would just write like different thoughts, not always in full sentences. And so with this journal, with you having a copy of it, was there something that resonated with you that you noticed in this particular journal?
Yes, actually, there were two things, and I want to say the first one was it would be your day 25, and it was by John Green. It says, "There is hope, even when the brain tells you there isn't." And
Mm,
that's, to me, when I say journaling, because most of my journaling is spiritual, your mind is very powerful. And no matter what circumstance you're going through or whatever
yeah.
you're facing, a lot of times we put things in our mind and they stay there. And the beauty about journaling, and for me, for spiritual journaling, is you can look and see that that is not so. You're thinking that, but you can
Mhm.
overcome that. And I really liked that you said that it, you know, there's hope even when our brain tells us that there isn't. And the
Right.
second one, Tonya, was actually yours, and it was the day 31. Rebuilding life requires acceptance of the new you. Each day is unique and carries its own recovery. And
Yeah.
that's it in a nutshell. That's life in general. Life
Yeah.
changes as long as we live, it's never different. And we have to learn to accept it. But I really believe when you journal and write everything out, you can rebuild, you can do these things.
Yeah, yeah. I think, thank you for sharing that. I know that when it comes to our mental health, messaging, things that we tell ourselves, we tend to believe what we tell ourselves. And so if our messaging, has to do with work, getting a promotion, why we didn't get it, we start to, say things to ourselves. Or if it has to do with our physical health, different things that we tell ourselves, we tend to believe it. So if we change what we tell ourselves, so with that one today, I'm going to tell myself, you're going to have a good day. There may be moments that aren't good, but I'm going to have a good day. So
Right.
telling myself something, very different could get a different response. So thank you for that. And I think, again, there's no right or wrong way, but if
Right.
we're able to gain more clarity and vision for what it is that we are in search of, it really can help us. So thank you for that. I really really appreciate you coming on. And again, to all of our viewers, if you are out there, if you want to send an encouraging message to Maria about her journaling, or if you have any questions about anything, feel free to type in the chat, say hello. We would definitely love, love, love to hear from you. Oh, I see a message here. Ashley says, I journal, but not enough. So many good things come to my heart, and I never have something to write it down on. Wow, Ashley, I can totally understand that. And that's my cousin in Illinois. Thank you for joining, family. I can definitely attest to that, which is why I keep a notepad next to my bedstand, in my car, at work, so that when it comes to me, I can write it down. Um, and I have another space in the house where I keep journals. If it's my quiet time, I'll go in there and write that too. Thank you so much for everybody that's joining. It's so appreciated. But journaling definitely looks different for everyone, and don't feel like you have to have, all the same format. But again, personal, professional, spiritual, there are different avenues and different ways for you to journal. So thank you so much. If you can hang out with us a little longer, Maria, I'd love to bring someone else on live. I
Absolutely.
I met this young lady several years ago, and again, she is such a bright light. And I connected with her right away. And when I decided that I was going to have an event, which you'll hear about before we leave today, she came to mind as someone who is very kind, has a great spirit and great energy. And we connected and we chatted a little bit about her story, and I shared what my project was coming up, and she immediately agreed to be a part of this project. I would like to bring on Princess Damon and hear a little bit of her story, and as well talk a little bit about an event that we have partnered together to host here in just a few weeks. So, welcome, Princess.
Hello, welcome. Thank
Hi.
you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. I I remember one of the days that I saw you at church. We attend the same church, Friendship Baptist Church. Shout out, Yorba Linda, California. Uh, and I remember seeing you, and I remember seeing you with your children, and I remember seeing you with, I call her um, your twin, because you guys are always together. And I saw your young daughter and son, and I thought, oh my gosh, they are so beautiful. They are just, I mean, they both look like they could be models, as well as you. And I just, kind of, I've seen you at some events, and I thought, I know what it is, a little bit of what she does. I'm going to reach out and see if she would be willing to partner with me with this journal and with an event. And you said yes. And I found this in our conversation. It was so easy to talk to you. And the fact that we both have a love and a passion, like Maria, to help others. I am so, so thankful for you being a part of the vision and the focus. And if you wouldn't mind, maybe just telling the viewers a little bit about you and your story.
Sure. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to have this moment to share. As I stated, my name is, as you stated, I'm Princess Damon, and I do have two children. One is an adult child, third year college student, and then I have a 16-year-old who's junior in high school at this point. And so my journey began way back when. I think of just for starters, wellness in itself, health, wellness. It began very young. I had a passion for what that looked like. What was wellness? Your health, how to
Mhm.
improve in that area. I was a cheerleader from 7 to 17. And so with that, it created a lot of fitness. And so initially, when I went off to college, I wanted to be a kinesiologist and study
Okay.
sports medicine, so that was my passion. And okay, life happened. Journaling became a part of my life
Mhm.
after going through it, an aftermath of a divorce. So
Mhm.
I've come out of a divorce and I have two small children at that time, and I'm the primary parent. I was one who always tucked. So I
Yeah.
know what a silent sufferer looks like because I was once one.
Mhm.
And so I began being around my sister, who you see me with often, and others I noticed they journaled. And so as I began to try to get out that space of
Mhm.
tucking, it took me to the pen and paper.
Yeah.
How can I get this out? I can't continue to allow it to be tucked down. And so
Mhm.
it was through the journaling that I was able to make my way, coupling
Mhm.
that up, because in those journals, you have prayers, as Maria was stating, that began to take place. I can look back at those journals now and see all those answered prayers, and it's just all I could, I'm just thankful.
Yeah.
So out throughout some of the trials and tribulations of life, I then started a nonprofit called I Press On Incorporated. It speaks for itself, right? I press on. So
Mhm.
my goal in that is I strive to empower others to overcome, to renew their hearts, their mind, and their soul through spiritual and physical overall wellness. And I'm also co-founder with my sister, a business called Poured Out Virtue. And so that business is where my sister and myself, we create products that are perfectly blended. We have natural vitamins, minerals, herbs, spices, and it's all to improve wellness and to warm your soul. So in that, let's see here. It's not here. Okay, so in that, I'm sorry, we had technical difficulty there. So in that process of creating the products, you couple that up with the I Press On Incorporated. That's pretty
Mhm.
much who I am. I am in a place of wanting to help others, in a
Yeah.
place to see others improve and to know that they can press on through whatever that is. But
Yeah.
journaling is a
Love
major
that.
part of it.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you for sharing
Love
that.
that.
And I know in preparation for the show, you have a copy of the journal. Is there
Yes, I
anything that just
do.
kind of stands out to
Mm.
you?
Yes, yes. There are a few things that stood out, and it's something Maria said, page 25, and I had to giggle because that was one of my one of my pages also that stood out. But what stood out in that page, if I can give a different view of it, is how you shared about mental anguish and being okay with seeking help.
Mm-hmm.
So that's key.
Yeah.
And the idea of not ignoring signs of stress and fatigue,
Mhm.
or feeling of helplessness. Now, I took that straight from this journal and
Yeah.
from that page 25. So, what I found was there are sprinkles of hope throughout this whole journal. And so, in return, it increases my faith, it increases my hope. And I can back it on up to day one. And your day one, it was very intentional. You were very intentional in sharing that we first need to look at self. That's
Mhm.
where it begins. If we want to have
Yeah.
mental clarity, we want to live a purposeful life.
Mhm.
Let's take a look at ourselves wherever you're at.
Yeah.
That was key. No matter where you're at, let's take a look right now. You started that day one, and you say we must be willing to tell ourselves the truth about ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was really
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I found with rebuilding life for me and some of the viewers who are here and the two of you know that my journaling took a turn after going through a very traumatic experience. And like you shared, Princess, about coming out of that, something had to change. And it started with me first telling myself the truth that the way I was moving, it wasn't changing. So I had to do some things differently. I had to see things differently because trauma has a way of keeping us in place and not moving. And so, being a victim for me, being a victim and witness to a murder, suicide, and a suicide, though I went through a process there, I still now had to function and move a little differently than before. And now I'm looking at, okay, we have to do one thing at a time, can't do everything at the same time. So having focus helped me to get clarity and to have um, more of a purpose for what I was
Mhm.
doing. And the reason I talk about personal, professional, and spiritual is because it's going to look different in all of those. And all of those are important to me. And so focusing on one area in personal, professional, and spiritual, then moving to the next really did help me gain clarity.
Mhm.
And both of you, even though you both shared about day 25, you found something different. And that's why when we tell ourselves the truth about us, your journaling process is going to look different. It's not going to look the same.
Mhm.
And that's okay because that's the uniqueness of you, and how you move forward is going to be unique to you. And so I'm really excited about the journal. And I would hope that people who are looking to gain clarity for, creating that vision and focus for life would pick up the journal. It's set up for 31 days, but it's set up for you to then start over. You can go at your own pace. There is no right or wrong way of going through the journal. I just really feel that it is a tool that you can put in your toolbox that can help you with gaining focus. So I am so excited to have you guys on the show. And I want to talk about an event. If you are in Southern California, I am actually going to be hosting a Vision Day retreat. And during that retreat, we are really going to sit down. We are going to um, create this day of working through our focus and gaining clarity and vision. We will also give away. We'll have some opportunity drawings. We will also create vision boards, and vision boards can be different, can be personal, professional, or spiritual. And we'll also do a mindfulness activity, And I'm excited that Princess will be coming along side of us and leading this mindfulness activity. Princess, can you talk a little bit about mindfulness when people hear that? I mean, I'm so thankful that we are becoming more comfortable in talking about mental health, removing the stigma of it. It is, that it's bad and the only reason people should go to therapy or do these types of things is something is wrong with them. But can you talk a little bit about the importance and what mindfulness, when people uh, talk about mindfulness, what are they talking about?
Yes, there's not a few things that are out there regarding mindfulness, but
Yeah.
mindfulness goes hand in hand with meditation. Mindfulness requires us to let go of past thoughts. It allows us to be present in the moment when we think of mindfulness.
Yeah.
I even found some things, some articles, scientifically, when you combine meditation, and I want to talk on that for a minute as well, along with mindfulness, it's been proven that you can eliminate stress, anxieties, worries, your health improves by taking the time to do a few practical exercises, practical things. Because with meditation, it starts in the mind, as we're talking about mindfulness, and um, in our mind, where it starts there. So whether there's an action or a lack of action, it
Hmm.
is derived from the mind.
Yeah.
So it's important we find ways to keep focus, right? So for me, and some of the things I'll be sharing is how we can focus on things that are true, things that are lovely, things that
Mm,
are pure, and a good
yes.
report.
Good report.
We those are the things that we would need to focus on in our time of meditation, being able to remove those things that we need to let go of.
Yeah.
And as a believer in Christ, I also include in my meditation time how much He loves me. How can
Mm.
I not? And so that sets up a peace that comes within as well.
Yeah.
And so it shifts, it creates a perspective shift. So
Yeah.
when you think mindful, you're intentional.
Hmm.
There's going to be clarity that comes about, and it requires discipline as
Yeah.
well. It requires discipline. So
Yeah.
during my segment of the retreat, I would love to cultivate an environment that will allow us an opportunity to work through some practical ways that we can gain
Hmm.
clarity and purpose.
Yeah. Ah. Now, thank you so much. I want to ask you, ladies, do you have a certain time of day that you journal? Maria, I'll start with you. Do you have a certain time?
Yes, I always journal first thing in the morning and
Mhm.
then sometimes in the evening, but it's always first thing in the morning because honestly, what we've all been discussing is our minds are so powerful. And immediately when we wake up, we already have so many thoughts in our minds. We still have thoughts from the day before, maybe the night before. And oftentimes, what happens is you start operating in those thoughts. And
Mhm.
really, when you just, to me, the first thing, just to give some time, and you don't have to start out very deep or don't have to start out with long lengths of time. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
I believe I started out with maybe 10 minutes or so, just kind of, and then it grows because what happens is you realize the clarity that you have and the direction and how you're going to move a little bit differently in your
Mhm.
day. So
Mhm.
then you do come back and say, wait a minute, I am going to take a little bit more time. I am going to just meditate on this. And something that Princess mentioned, that was actually a practice that I started while I was in the hospital during my transplant. There were two doctors, physical therapists, and they were very into mindfulness and meditation. And that's something they shared with me. They told me, because they didn't call me by my first name. They said, Miss Jones,
Mhm.
you're surviving. Honestly, we know you have a strong faith and we know your beliefs, but you placed it in your mind. they reminded me that I told them that I was going to be a 2-time cancer survivor
Mm.
leaving there. And they said, because you placed that in your mind, the mind is powerful, and you just stayed positive through
Pow-
everything. And so that is true. It really is. But I want to say, first thing, before you get everything else in you, just try to journal and write down, because it still focuses you. Even if it's things you need to accomplish that are not spiritual, you'll
Mhm.
still write them down, and you will get them done when you see it
Mhm.
in writing.
Yeah, yeah, like that. How about you, Princess? A certain time of day?
Well, I have to share also, Marie, it was through my journaling went to another level based on a medical situation that I was faced with.
Yes.
And it required me to begin journaling like never before. And it's taken a life of its own because
Mm.
it was a journey. It is a journey when you
Yeah.
have things that come out of nowhere,
Mm.
to overcome. And so I wanted to share that. And it was times where I had to shut it down. The nurses and doctors and say, "Hey, I don't need to hear anything. Please don't turn on the TV. Please don't
Mm.
turn on that. This is the time that I need." And
Mm.
at that point, being in the hospital, as I was hospitalized for a few days, I journaled in my phone, my
Yeah.
very thought, my very moment, because that's what I had until I could transfer it over. And
Mhm.
so for me, my journaling, it's very small in the morning, and that would go hand in hand with the devotion,
Mm.
for instance, because now I'm meditating on the things that I read for that day. But the night is when I could just take off because
Oh.
now I didn't have my devotional that morning. And it might have been short lived with my journaling, or it could have been a moment where I just really, there was a lot to be said to feed my spirit. But then the night is what happened during that day. Did I stay in the vein of what I read that morning? Did I get
Mhm.
off track? Was it something that I learned throughout that day? So
Yeah.
with that, it will be the night is when I could really quiet my spirit. But when I'm reading something hand in hand, when you say it's for different things, devotional, the journal, it truly is
Yeah.
for different things. So one of them is I have one specifically to go with my devotion. I'm even a part of a blog, and so it depends on when that blog pings. It's a single blog, and so even with reading that, I take nuggets from that. So it could
Yeah.
be middle of the day, and then now I'm journaling
Yeah.
because it's encouraging me, it's
Yeah.
lifting me, and it's like I have to write that down. Or maybe I'm having a bad day, like
Yeah.
then I write that down also.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, if I were to ask, and I'm going to kind of switch a little bit, is there someone when you think about relationships that you have in life, like a friendship or even a family, what is one of the most important relationships that you have, either in your personal or your professional or your spiritual life? Princess, how about you? Somebody that you see as an important relationship, be it personal, professional, in your life.
Okay, who would that be? It's the one that you see me with, right? That would be my sister Darlicia, but it's for a very good reason. A lot of people may see us and think, "Oh, we those two, they just skipping through the trees," you know. We could, I mean, I could talk for a long time on relationships, but relationship is intentional. And
Mhm.
you say that I don't have the page down, but you have a section in regards to relationship and
Yeah.
who you're around, who your circle is. It
Mhm.
matters. And to me, I believe my circle, it's a life or death
Yeah.
situation because someone you're connected to, they could miss it. They could miss something that you need. They can miss that you're not in your right mind at this moment. They can miss that you needed help,
Mhm.
and it could cost you your life. Or
Yeah.
say you're sharing your heart with them, and this person is making fun of you or something. It's like, hey,
Mhm.
you need an encouragement in that moment. So I would have to say my sister Darlicia because um, there's a pouring there's a pouring going
Mhm.
both ways.
Yeah.
There's a pouring, there's a pushing, and there's a pulling.
Mhm.
So I want to be surrounded by those that's destined to be connected to you.
Yeah.
A true divine connection. Outside of that, I just don't want it. It doesn't matter. In
Yeah.
any form, they can be nice, they can be
Yeah.
generous, be sweet, but if it's not a divine connection, then I just don't. But yeah, it's because of the intentionality. It's the heart. of the
Mhm.
person. It's
Mhm.
displayed. Even if there's a disagreement, because you're not going to always, everything is yes, yes, yes. Actually, I don't want to be around anyone. It's just, yeah, Princess, sure, Princess. Well, let me
Yeah.
know your true feedback. But to
Mhm.
be able to work through that in love and then move past it, whatever
Yeah.
that is. And now you've learned from one another. That's relationship. No
Yeah.
matter who, you learn from one another. Okay, this person feels this way if you say this or do that. And you
Mm.
learn and you grow and you keep on going.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. How about you, Maria?
I would say it's twofold, but really it is my husband, Roderick. Um, he really, and this is going to sound odd maybe, but not that he hasn't always been my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, my husband now of 23 years, but he has really become more, we've gotten closer spiritually connected through this journey. So,
Mm.
through the last 3 years of me going through cancer, this really brought us to a completely different level. And as I was going to say before, not that my husband wasn't, but the next thing is, and we call it, we're Circle of Friends, it's just our COF. We are a group of people that are all the same way, very connected families, and we're ride or die, and we're there for each other. And so it's my husband, of course, because it's my husband, but my COF definitely are people that have been, and we've been, like we've known, we've been, some of us 30, almost 40 years that we have been friends, family. And you're right, you have to be with like minded people and people that are really going to pour into your spirit and encourage you, because life is life. And in this life, whether people are biblical or not, even to someone that maybe not have, honestly, in this life, there are so many challenges, there are so many highs, and there's so many lows. And
Mm-hmm.
you've got to surround yourself around people that are going to be with you in both spots. Because
Yeah.
everybody wants to be with you when, oh, everything's great. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people will be with you, but it's who are those that are going to be with you when it's not great?
Yeah. Yeah.
Life's really beating you, though you still need those same people to be there for you as well.
Yeah, and I love that you each talked about a, different people in your life. It can be one person, it could be a group of individuals, but how do they add value, and then how do you add value? So it is still part of gaining clarity and focus and vision when you think about the relationships that you have in your life. I saw a comment come across the screen about the five closest people. Can you name them on one hand? Do they come to mind? Do you have a picture? I know for me, I have great friends. I've been very, very blessed that I'm still friends with someone that we went to preschool together. I mean, we're still really, really good friends, and so those are the people that, like you said, Princess, that they can tell you the truth in love,
Yes.
because they mean you well, and I'm thankful for doors that have been closed on
Yes.
people who didn't mean me well. I'm thankful for the doors that opened, for new relationships, new friendships, because of gaining focus and having clarity and direction in things that I want to do. But I'm very, very thankful for family, church family, sorority family, blood family, and just others who have become family over the years. And you know, I'm a I love journaling. There's
Me
no,
too.
I saw someone said they're thinking that they would. They're not necessarily big on journaling, but just hearing you ladies today talk about just how it has blessed you or been an important part of your life, that others are considering doing it. So again, yeah, you just pick it up and you just start. There is no, the goal of the journal is to give you a starting point, but to give you prompts as well that you can work on one for the whole week if you want to. Princess, I love how you shared that you would do a little bit and you would meditate or, and think about that for the whole day. Start in the morning, start in the afternoon, wherever you are, where you feel the most, um, able to sit down and have a quiet moment. How much time do you ladies spend? You mentioned Princess maybe a little bit. Do you find, you said you found that at night? I don't know. Sometimes I like it in the morning. I think Maria, you talked about how much time do you all spend in your journaling?
It depends. Like I said, the morning it can be, a few moments because I need to
Yeah,
capture that. But for the night, I mean, it could go, it could be an hour or so. It
yeah,
just depends.
yeah, it depends. The same for you, Maria?
Yes, I was going to say for me, as I look back and thinking on this, I actually probably spend, I would say, at least a good 3 to 4 hours a week, like in the whole week's time.
In a week. Okay.
In a week, probably about 4 hours, believe it or not, journaling. And again, like Princess said, and reflecting, reading other things besides my journal, reading other devotionals and positive things. And Tonya, if I may, I actually have a journal. I just wanted
Oh,
to show
yeah.
the viewers. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, because I have my screen up. Sorry, you can't really see it, but I have a journal because I have a background screensaver. I'm sorry, but the real important thing about this journal that I have, this is a journal that I started in 2018, and it completed in February of 2019. But
Mm-hmm.
in this journal, because
Put
this
it
is a
right in
very,
front of your face. Put it in front of your face.
oh,
We want to see it.
oh, can you see it now?
No.
No.
No, I know. I'm sorry. It's because I have the background.
Okay.
But oh, you can see a little bit right there.
Little-
But in this journal, it says
Yeah.
prayer journal. At one time, I was praying over healing and health for the church, for our women's conferences and women's prayer breakfasts at church at Friendship. And when I got diagnosed with my cancer, I came home. And again, probably, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I was in denial or what, but honestly, I came home, came up in here where I'm at right now in my office, and I pulled this journal because I probably have actually over 30 journals.
Mm.
But I pulled this one right out the middle of my bookshelf,
Mm.
and I opened it up, to February of 2019. So a complete year before me being diagnosed with cancer. And there were two scriptures in this journal. And one is Mark 5:34, which is my key scripture now, my life scripture. And it's about a woman who had an issue with blood and how her faith that the Lord told her, you're healed. And the second was a scripture from Proverbs 3:8. And it talked about healing for your bone and your marrow. So in 2019, like we said, I journaled this, prayed at that time. And then here in 2020, I got diagnosed with two cancers. But the main thing leading back to these scriptures was that I had blood cancer, AML cancer. And the thing they told me is that I wouldn't survive. And the only way I could survive is if I had a bone marrow transplant.
Mm.
So I really honestly believe when you do journal, again, going back to it is your inner spirit also.
Mm-hmm.
It's something about writing your thoughts and writing things down at that present moment, because they are going to be able to, you're going to be able to pick them back at when you least expect it. Honestly, of course, no one wants to get cancer or be diagnosed with cancer. But because of those two specific scriptures, like a year prior, it just completely changed it just changed everything for me.
Yeah.
Like I never even, I went through what I went through, and it was very serious, and I definitely couldn't or should not be here. Definitely.
Yeah.
But it changed my whole mindset
Yeah.
because of those scriptures. And again, because of this journal that I had in the middle of all my other journals, I just pulled it out and opened it right to the middle of that. It was odd. I go, what is this? Why am I opening it like right here? Not the beginning. I opened in the middle of the journal, and boom, it was right there. And I was like, okay,
Mm.
let's go.
Wow. Wow. Wow, that is incredible. I love that story. And I know, when people journal, it's sometimes going back reading, you've already seen that I can do this. I can do
Yeah.
this. And it's for you. Journaling is for you. It's not for anyone else. Now others will benefit from your focus and your clarity and your vision, but how to get the most out of journaling, I want to share from the book before we do our final thoughts. This journal is designed to open your mind with clarity to your goals, dreams, and desires. It's designed to awaken you to the awareness that there are possibilities for your life, and you can write the vision of where you want to be using positive affirmations and encouragement for yourself. So start with day one. Discover that you can create a daily goal and gain clarity and create achievable goals. You can start over at any point. This journal isn't meant to hit you over the head if you don't do it every single day. You can start, stop, start, stop. You don't have to write in the book if you don't want. Grab a spiral notebook, large or small, and write down thoughts if you want. Write down phrases if you want. But these are three questions that I want you to ask yourself. Who or what do you want to be?
Mhm.
What do you want to do? And what do you want to have? No matter how long we live, we are a work in progress. Nobody has arrived. I don't care if you've met somebody who told you that they have arrived. I'm here to tell you that's not the truth. We are all a work in progress. You will always also encounter people who aren't happy with their life or their life choices. And so, our stories, as much as I want to share it with everyone, and I will share, some people just won't get it. My story is not going to be for everyone. But I will tell you that when you become clear, I want to encourage you to get clear for yourself and continue to surround yourself with people who mean you well, whether it is in marriage, in singleness, in motherhood, and parenting. You first have to see it for yourself. And part of the Whiteside Group and one of the books I published, my very first one, Change the Atmosphere with Encouraging Words, I created the See It, Say It, Script It, the 3S rule. And that's what gaining focus and clarity and vision is. See it, say it, script it. It's all about that vision. See it, say it, and script it. I know there was a comment that came in that we were going to put on the screen. And if we can get that, I want to make sure that as we get ready to close out, I want to thank my guests. Oh my gosh, our time, man, we've been here. Can you believe it? Hi, Leetris. There's a comment from Leetris Johnson. Charles, love you, love you, love you. She says, my issue is starting several journals at different times. I want more consistent journaling habits. This book will help me clarify my journaling. Absolutely, Leetris. I believe that having focus and clarity, having talking points and questions to help prompt you in your writing will definitely give that to you to be more consistent in it. But again, don't beat yourself up about
Mhm.
that, because as you heard from everybody here, we all have different, we have more than one
Mhm.
place that we're writing it down. And if it comes to your mind, I don't want you to be stuck with, oh, where's my book, my one book that I have, because I want to keep it all in a book. Date it. And you guys can share too. That's one of the other things. Maria, I know you shared that you found some of your mom's journals. Mama Claire loved her, rest her soul. I date my days or the times that I write in it so that I know where if I want to go back to a day, I can go back to it. But that's what I do. Any thoughts on how you would answer that for Leetris about consistency in writing in different journals? We'll start with Princess and then Maria.
I think that's an excellent idea. That's something that I've done is, as I stated earlier, was if I had to jot it down in my phone notes and transfer it over. It's been times where if it's a busy time or there's things that's going on, a busy season, and say it may be a few places, but to still recenter, you take
Mhm.
time to recenter, and this journal will help you with that. And one thing I wanted to add is the way that the book is written, it's like you're writing your book. You're writing your own book,
Mhm.
as you, if you write it actually in the pages. So say day 5 and now you didn't get back to it till day 10, but you're only on day 6. Start there at day 6. This
Mhm.
is for you.
Yeah.
So it's for you. So to answer your question, first and foremost, your expectation of yourself. This is a journey, your journey. So
Yeah.
there is no time limit. In this case, this book is 31 days. If
Mhm.
it take you 45 days, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just that you consistent. It will begin. It requires a self discipline, a new habit, and over time, you will then feel some kind of way like, oh, I didn't journal today. It become a part of you after a while. So that's my take on it. Just take it easy, one day at a time, and
Yeah.
then get together.
Yeah. Thank you, Maria.
Yes, I was going to say to Leatrice or to any, I actually have, I would say probably 4 at one time. So don't beat yourself up. I always started out with just one journal, if you will.
Yeah.
I always date. So it's real important, I think, to date. I do the time too, but you don't have to do that. No one has to do that. But the date is really important because that allows you to reflect and look back. But honestly, I have one for my health journey. I have one that it's every Sunday. So all of the Sunday messages, because I always take notes. I'm a big note taker. And so, and it doesn't matter. It's like one journal, but it could be whether I'm at Friendship, whether I was at Saddleback, whether I'm visiting. So, and then one, a larger one that it's more like just more, I would say more professional. It's more my goals and my vision and things that I know that I want to achieve at a certain time and a plan. So
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with having more than one because honestly, there's more than one thing that's really going on with you
Yeah.
in your life. And so there's nothing wrong with having 2 or 3 journals or 2 or 3 or 4 different devotionals because each one of them is going to speak to wherever you're at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Well, ladies, we have come to the end of the show. Oh, again, I want to thank you. Thank you, Princess. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you for joining us, Barbara Hatcher. So thankful that you enjoyed this and you were able to join us. Having several journals. I have a ton. And honestly, I notice my writing when I journal. Hi, Lillian. Thank you. Thank you all for your comments. I see them coming across the screen. Ladies, they really enjoyed hearing from you tonight.
Okay.
Um, but I have lots of journals, and this journal focus really has been a blessing to me, having me to really, again, think and speak out loud some of the things that have really helped me. The pages have reflection pages after every day because it is important. And you shared it, Princess, and so did you, Maria. Like, I will write something down, but I also now need to sit back and reflect,
Yeah.
reflect on what might be happening in that moment. There are questions in here about um, personal, professional,
Mhm.
again, spiritual, if that is an important part for you. I just think it's so important to speak to all those. I mean, raise your hand if you are a mother. Raise your hand if you're a
Right.
wife. Raise your hand if you work. Raise your hand. I mean, There are so many layers to us, and we're beautifully put together. So I'm thankful for all of my layers. But journaling really has helped me to gain more clarity. Again, in spite of different things that have gone
Mhm.
on in life, I'm thankful that when I've journaled about it, I can go back and look at just how far I've come. And it just encourages me to keep writing, to keep going, to keep creating that focus. So, again, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those out there who do not follow the Whiteside Group. Please consider following our Instagram page. Please go to our website, www.thewhitesidegroup.net. There you will see in the event section the Vision Day Retreat that will be in Costa Mesa,
Mhm.
California,
Oh,
at the Crown
nice.
Plaza coming up here on May 20th. I would love for you to join us on that day. But again, you can also pick up the journal. It
Yes,
is
on
now
Amazon.
available. Focus. It's on Amazon available. Share it with others that you may know that also are journalers or started thinking that they wanted to journal, but also it has a lot of encouragement in it. So even if you picked up the book to just read
Right.
it, look at the pictures, I'm visual. So you all may notice that you'll see a lot of pictures in the book because I am visual, and I found that for me, gaining clarity and focus, when I close my eyes, I see pictures more than I see words.
It's nice.
And
I love
that's
it.
how that became very important. In fact, in all of the books that I've published, except the first one, I have pictures in books because, we remember color a lot and not so much as black and white. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, Princess and Maria, and to all of you who joined us live. Be blessed. Thank you so much. Have a good night.